In the final months of 2019, I planned a trek to the Arctic Circle in northern Sweden. And while this trip most certainly did not go to plan, it tested me both physically and psychologically in a way I never thought possible.
Well, it's midnight. I've been traveling for 18 hours straight and I'm 200 miles inside the Arctic Circle. And I've got 10 miles to walk before I can reach the nearest town, and I'm too cheap to get a taxi. I would like to say that this is like a remote mountain hut that I hiked to over several days in the blizzards, but as you can quite clearly see, it isn't, because there's a hotel over there, and there's a signpost over there, and there's a road over there. And I think this is a skate park. Now, I'm carrying everything that I'm supposed to be carrying in my sled on my back, and I'm also carrying the sled on my back. And I'm carrying all the food I'm going to be using for the next 10 days in my arms. The whole thing weighs about 45 to 50 kilos. I've got all my stuff loaded into the sled. Got my backpack is a lot lighter now, so I'm going to keep on going. Maybe another hour, get into the wilderness, pitch up a tent, and have my first night in the backcountry.
As I trekked through miles and miles of Arctic tundra and woodland, I was struck by the sheer beauty of the nature and wildlife in the area.
Gorgeous place, honestly. I'm hating it, but I'm loving it.
Found shelter for once. I was hiking for about 6 hours today. I spent the last 2 hours of that hiking across a frozen lake to get to this place, which is a hiker's lodge. The door was frozen shut, so with a bit of effort I managed to open it, and there's some stuff in here, and I'm gonna cook my food. I'm very happy. So happy. I might cry now. Good night.
I'm trying out the snowshoes on this ice, and they make it quite a bit faster, I'll say that. I'm making good time. So totally still and quiet. I don't know if there are bears or wolves or anything out here. I hope not. It's quite beautiful, to be fair. I think it's about 1.5 miles away that way. Wind chill's picking up.
a lot of moisture coming off me. It looks like I'm the first person to visit this place in almost 3 months. My leg is absolutely in agony, so I can only hope that it gets better.
At this stage in the trip, I was giving serious thought to the idea of turning back and returning to civilization. The night before had pushed me psychologically and physically, and my body was still in pain, and the thought of continuing in those conditions was not appealing.
They look like snowmobiles, and I'm thinking I might get moving and hike in their wake. Well, it's getting dark, and I'm gonna head down and try to find those snowmobile tracks, because if I can find those, I can follow them down this valley to the next hut, and I'll be set. Go. Well, I'm currently out in the middle of a frozen lake. I'm looking for the tracks that the snowmobiles left.
We have a little bit of a problem. I just went and checked over my gear, and one of my snowshoes is broken. Here you can see where it snapped. I'm not sure if it happened because of the cold, or whether or not it was just because I went over some rocks or something. So yeah, my snowshoes may be a little bit broken, but I'm working on an idea how to solve that. Okay, well, after looking through all the available tools I have, okay, so far what I found that might be useful is some paracord, this. Oh, why couldn't you just go to Ibiza, Ruairi? You're a fucking idiot.
After attempting several repairs to the snowshoes, I attempted to fashion a pair of skis out of a piece of scrap wood I had found lying in the snow. This plan did not go well.
I'm trying to decide whether or not I want to turn back or not. I know that my destination is 40 kilometers away. I don't know. I'm gonna make a decision soon. Well, I've made my decision. I'm going for it. It's about 7:30 in the morning. Sun will be up in the next hour or so. I'm planning to be on my way by then. I cannot stress how absolutely frigidly cold it is in the morning. I'm a little bit scared, a little bit excited. It definitely feels a lot better than turning back, I'll say that. I put a lot of effort into getting here. I'll be damned if I turn back now.
Sun's come up. It's pretty beautiful. I've got to make it over that ridge line there and then into the next valley. Well, I made the summit of the pass. I'm sitting at about 1100 meters right now. If I'm not mistaken, I am now higher than the highest point in Ireland. And right now I'm sitting in the middle of a valley. The lid's frozen shut. Wind chill is probably in the minus 30s now. Pretty intense to deal with. Cold, really cold. Okay, well, I was coming down off this mountain ridge here, and I seem to have put my foot in it. In this case, quite literally. I hope it still kind of functions as a snowshoe. Well, I think I spoke too soon. My snowshoe's completely broken now. Okay, now I might be in a little bit of trouble. Shit. I don't think I can repair this. Looks like I'm on foot from here on in. Getting out of here without these is gonna be difficult. Shit. If I can get off the mountain, I'm gonna pitch up, down off the mountain, and I'm gonna work it out tomorrow.
After the snowshoes had broken, I continued on foot, wading through deep snow, trying to get down off the mountain as far as I could. And when I eventually decided to pitch the tent because of the poor conditions, I spent almost 2 hours trying to chisel my frozen feet out of my boots.
Oh, come on.
It's about 8:30 on day 7. I ended up camping out at about 3,000 feet, or about 1,000 meters. It's really cold up here, and it's really windy up here.
I'm really beginning to appreciate the concept of warm beaches, long days, cheap cocktails, and all-you-can-eat buffets. This is so fucked. Oh! Yes! Look, that's one done. Oh my thank fuck for that.
With my snowshoes broken and my feet in ever worsening condition, I knew this was my last chance to try to make it to civilization.
Well, I got down off the mountain. It took me about 2.5 hours to get about 1.5 kilometers.
I found myself wading through deeper and deeper snow until eventually, while crossing a frozen river, the ice gave way and I fell into deep, cold water.
My feet are still very, very cold, but as long as I keep moving and I make it to that hut, I think I should be relatively safe. Yeah, that sure is pretty beautiful. Not worth it at all, but you know, still pretty beautiful.
After hiking for 7 hours in the pitch black in the deep snow, I eventually reached a mountain hut at the edge of the wilderness.
I'm in a great deal of pain right now, but whether or not that is... if I can get past that, I don't know, but...
After spending more than 2 hours chiseling my frozen feet out of my frozen boots, I found that my toes were heavily discolored.
Yeah, sunny beaches and cheap cocktails. Looking pretty good right now.